You don't need lots of money to buy businesses. When I bought my first company, I didn't have millions of dollars in the bank. What I lacked in resources, I made up for with resourcefulness. And that's what I want to talk about today, because that's so critically important to understand, especially if you're a beginner starting out. I've had a lot of people reach out to me recently who are 22 years old, 23 years old. They just graduated from college and they want to buy companies for a living, or they want to run their own business, but they have no idea where to start. And they ask me a million, they're all the same questions. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't have money. How do I start? And how do people take me serious? All this type of stuff. And I want to dig into that a little bit further today. And I want to first start out by saying resourceful people ask better questions. I think it's in the book Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki, where he says, broke people say, I can't afford this, but rich people say, how could I afford this? That's a resourceful person, right? It's a slight shift in how they think. I can't afford this. How can I afford this? And so along that same line, I want to tell an example about the first business I ever bought. I effectively got paid almost $40,000 to take control of a positively cash flowing, profitable business. They basically paid me to buy the business. And how did that work? Well, I was cold calling at the time a bunch of business owners in the previous city I used to live in. And I was looking for a business to buy. I was just hungry. So I kept calling and calling and calling, and I didn't have a ton of money in the bank. But what I did do is I had the balls to cold call, which is the grittiest way to buy a business. Most people might use a broker or something, but you're never going to find really good deals that way. And so I was looking for off-market opportunities, and I got in touch with an older couple that was looking to sell their business. And without me assuming what they wanted, where a lot of people might think they want a check for $1 million, right at closing or something, I just asked them, what are you looking for? What do you want? And it just happened to turn out that the circumstances of what they wanted were steady income for retirement. They basically wanted another pension. And so to make a long story short, we negotiated a transaction where they agreed to finance the deal, right? And I took out a loan of $500,000 and I paid them interest on it. And they financed the entire transaction. I bought that business without a single penny out of my pocket. And to add to that, they left $40,000 worth of working capital in the bank. Just by simply signing a dotted line, they gave me $40,000 worth of cash, and they gave me a profitable business. I didn't have any money in that deal. And had I assumed that because I don't have a ton of money, or had I assumed because I've never done this before, that they would have never sold to me, I would have never had that opportunity. But I had to shift that self-limiting belief, take a step back and say, no, it is possible. I'm going to push forward. And so, that obviously handled the financial side of the equation, right? So it's basically financial engineering 101, right? It's a leveraged buyout. They financed the transaction. That was great. But then there's the other side of the equation where, okay, now that the deal's done, how the hell am I going to run this business, right? I don't know how the hell to run a healthcare company, which is a healthcare business. And so what I did is I found people that did know. Crazy concept. So maybe you might even have the money, but now you're stuck on this whole thing of, I don't know what to do. And a lot of people will freeze at that point. They'll say, I don't know how to do due diligence. I don't know how to manage people. I don't know how to run a company. I've never done this before. Cool. That's good to know. Find people that do know. And that's exactly what I did. When I decided I wanted to buy healthcare companies, I don't have the faintest clue about how to run a healthcare business. I didn't know how health insurance worked at the time, but I went out and found people that knew their business well. And so in my particular situation, the vertical I decided to get into in healthcare, I figured, okay, well, I'm probably going to need a couple of people that do know how to run these businesses at a very high level. And so for example, say you want to buy, a plant nursery or something, whatever that may be, go out and find an operator, whether he's currently actively working or retired, that knows how to run a plant nursery. Go pick their brain, go walk into the business and ask to talk to the owner, call them, text them on LinkedIn or something like that, reach out to them. And that's what I did. I went out and found business leaders in my market that knew how to run the exact same businesses that I was looking at acquiring. And I just asked them, I said, hey, listen, so-and-so, I understand that you're very experienced and knowledgeable running this type of business. I'm looking to acquire and operate my own business. And I was curious to know if I were to share the wealth with you, if I were to give you ownership in this business for free in exchange for some mentorship, would you be interested? Would you have that dialogue with me? And you'd be surprised how many people say yes. It's shocking. If you ask 10 people, you'll have 5 people that are interested. That's what I did. I went out and found people that understood finance and legal and M&A and healthcare and whatever that may be. And I assembled a team. So when we actually acquired that first business, I was one of 8 people. And so at that point, I wasn't going at it alone. I didn't have to go out and buy a business and figure it all out myself. On day one, I had a deep bench available that I could lean on, that I could draw upon to say whenever we ran into a problem, hey, so-and-so, how do I deal with this problem? Or how do I manage that? What do I do in this case? And so all of the stuff that I lacked, all the knowledge I lacked, I made up for it by being resourceful and recruiting people that did know that stuff. And I think that's easily, if I had to say one thing I've done in my life, that's easily the smartest thing I've ever done. Surrounding myself with a competent team, right? Because it's not what you know, it's how you surround yourself. You've heard the saying, you don't want to be the smartest person in the room. I took that to heart. I want to be the dumbest person in the room so I can move in their direction, because everybody's heard the saying, you are who you associate with. That doesn't end in a professional setting. So I wanted to get the smartest people I can as part of my team so I could learn and grow throughout the process. I also want to mention something. Being resourceful, it's a craft, and you learn crafts by doing them. Kind of like if you want to learn pottery. The first pots you're going to make are going to look terrible, right? But you make 100 pots, they're going to start to look beautiful at some point. Same thing with painting. The first, canvas you grab and paint a picture, it's going to look terrible. But you keep doing it, you get better. And so how do you train resourcefulness? By just doing it. So for example, if you've never cold called before, how do you get better at cold calling? When you're scared, when you're nervous, when you're anxious, you make the calls anyway. How do you recruit people? How do you pitch people? You go meet with them and you fumble the hell out of those meetings, right? You look like an idiot. You take a step back, you brush yourself off, you go on and you ask again. You negotiate a deal even if you're unqualified, even if you don't know what you're doing, and you'll fumble your way through and you'll learn, and then you get better for the next time. It's a numbers game at some point. If anything, I'm glad I started out with a lack of resources. It's forced me to sharpen my edge. It forced me to get better. It forced me to become a better man. At the end of the day, if I had a ton of money, that's just the easy way. You just throw cash at your problems. But when you start out poor, and I think Andrew Carnegie said one of the best things forever for a child is to be born into poverty. I believe in that. I mean, put a hungry kid into a poverty-stricken family who wants to change his life. That kid is a fucking person that you want to watch out for. I mean, it doesn't matter how many resources they have. They will find a way to get what they need to get done. Like for example, where I'm recording this video, I actually noticed the last video I recorded was in California. I happen to be in California right now. One of my board members invited me out to spend the 4th of July weekend with him. And I did. I enjoyed my time here, but I look and I kind of ponder. I'm currently in the plumbing and air conditioning space. I don't know anything about plumbing. I mean, I could spell HVAC. That's the extent of my knowledge in this industry. But I was able to go out there and cold call people throughout the nation, and ultimately got connected with one of my business partners here in California, and he agreed to partner with me. And by the way, it wasn't just a one and done call. I had to chase this guy down for 6 months. I mean, I remember it took a very long period of time calling him multiple times to track him down until ultimately he capitulated and agreed to partner with me. I mean, part of my style is work through attrition, right? So I keep going at it until, I'm like herpes, you can't get rid of me. But you gotta have that mindset. And I guess it naturally is helpful, or it's naturally easier for me, I should say, because I have a sales background. When I was 18 years old, I got a job selling furniture. And from there, I sold mattresses and televisions and appliances and all types of stuff. So I'm used to that pitch. I've been rejected a hell of a lot of times, so I don't take it personally. But again, I've only gotten this way because of repetition. I've done it a lot. And so I went out and found people, and God, I mean, it's such a blast. I get to tap dance to work every day. I enjoy what I do. And I'll go in with very complex problems that I'm dealing with. How do you manage this and, the operational problems that come my way? With a simple phone call, I can call my partners and say, hey, so-and-so, I just ran into this problem. How did you solve this? Oh, God, I mean, I dealt with that years ago. This is what you want to do. And it's such a blast being able to just have it's almost like playing Minecraft on creative mode. I mean, it really is that. You just have all of the answers you need, and it's super fun, it's challenging, it's stimulating, and it's very difficult to get done. But I mean, I wouldn't be able to do anything else. And if anybody's curious about kind of more practical, hey, this is my situation, what should I do? What are the first steps? Feel free to reach out to me. I've had a ton of people message me on LinkedIn. I've had people email me, whatever that may be. I'm reachable. I'm happy to help. But again, please don't let this whole idea of I don't have money or I don't know what I'm doing or I've never done this before stop you from achieving your goals, because it's absolutely possible. You just have the ball. You just have to have the balls to go out and do it. If there's anything you want me to talk about specifically, please just leave me a comment or something about a topic or something, and I'll record a video about that. But I appreciate you tuning in.